What's up guys? In today's video everyone, we are going to be checking out the new wood type supporter, and I'll be telling you all whether or not you should summon for this character. So here we are with her on screen, the new 5-star child Blessed Scrouge, the wood type supporter that'll be arriving with our update later this evening. So as you can see, there she is on screen in her E-class costume, looking so good. I love this design a ton for our Christmas Carol themed Ragnarok events, and she fits so well with that. Now there she is in the E-class, and next up here we do have the S-class on screen, looking so good. As you can see, this beautiful pose here showing her full body, and we do have the amazing looking snowfall effects around her. She's also tossing up a presence here, as well as the amazing view of the thighs and of course the cleavage here for you all to see, alongside the gift basket she is holding as well. So a very beautiful design here for the wood type supporter, definitely a top tier one I would say for the Christmas theme. Now moving on to the skill sets here everyone, at rank 1 stats we do have the tap skill, which will deal 404 damage to the target and has a 60% chance to remove allure from 2 allies with allure. She also does have a 70% chance to grant aid, weak point skill final blow plus 15%, and attack increased in proportion to the current number of buffs for 16 seconds to 2 wood type allies' highest attack. As for the slide skill here, Bless You, dealing 727 damage to 2 enemies, lowest HP, skill gauge charge speed plus 45% to 3 wood type allies, highest attack for 16 seconds, and weak point skill final blow plus 50% to a 5-person giant boss. As for the drive skill here, Fiesta Time, dealing 1933 damage to 3 random enemies, a 90% chance to grant awakening, crit damage increased by 30%, and slide skill damage increased by number of buffs for 3 wood type allies, highest attack for 20 seconds, and drive gauge plus 150 to up to 5 wood type allies. And last but not least here, the leader buff, weak point skill final blow plus 18% for wood type allies, and 5-person giant boss plus 20% added. So definitely a ton to take in here for Scrouge, but let's break it down here, starting with the tap skill of Cold Snap. Now this is honestly going to be pretty amazing for the Ragnarok event, as based on the allure removal here from the tap skill, you could expect chang'e to have this in her skill set, so make sure to prepare for this by summoning up this character, as you'll definitely need her if chang'e does happen to have allure in the skill set. But nonetheless, it's definitely a pretty interesting effect here from a tap skill for a raid type wood supporter, as allure is honestly so strong. So if we do happen to have this in chang'e's boss kit, you'll definitely need it for the event, as allure will nullify any buffs that your allies do have applied to them. So in this case, Scrouge will be very strong for that allure removal. We also do have here aid on the tap skill, which is very strong, very similar to units like Newbie Mona here, as we do have the weak point skill final blow increased by 15% and attack increased by proportion of number of buffs for the 16 seconds to 2 wood type allies' highest attack. So definitely a solid tap skill here, and it will be needed if chang'e does happen to have allure in her skill set. As for the slide skill here everyone, we do have the skill gauge charge speed plus a certain percentage to 3 wood type allies, highest attack for 16 seconds, as well as the weak point skill final blow plus 50% in 5-person giant boss. So definitely an amazing slide skill here from Scrouge. We do have the skill gauge charge speed to 3 wood type allies, which will be very strong. We also do have that weak point skill final blow increase here, which will be amazing for a unit like Pepita or any attacker that you are using for this event, as we could expect here based on this skill set that crit rate may be nerfed or possibly focus will be banned for this event, but we'll have to wait and see upon the confirmation of chang'e's boss skill set. As for the drive skill here everyone, Fiesta Time, which does happen to have a 90% chance to grant awakening, as well as the drive gauge increase of 150 to 5 wood type allies, alongside that awakening being applied to 3 wood type allies, is honestly so strong. So we could expect Scrouge's drive skill to be implemented in some sort of way throughout this event, as the awakening effect here is pretty solid. The drive gauge up is also a nice addition here, as it'll help you reach an additional fever time quicker. Last but not least here, for the leader buff everyone, we do have weak point skill final blow plus 18% for wood type allies, and in 5-person giant boss we do have 20% added. So this leader skill will be very amazing if we do happen to have crits rates nerfed or focused is banned, as you'll be relying on weak point damage. So if this does happen to be the case, then Scrooge's leader skill will rise in priority due to the weak point skill damage increase. Next up here, everyone, we'll check out the differences in ignition compared to her base skill set. So we do have her rank 7 ignited skills here on screen, as they do change quite a bit. So let's get started with the tap skill, in which we do have dealing 2,615 damage to the target, an 85.1% chance to nullify Allure for 2 allies with Allure for 8 seconds long. So instead of removing Allure now, she will actually nullify the debuff entirely for 8 seconds long. We also do have here, she has a 95.1% chance to grant aid here from the tap skill now, and this will last for 2 turns now to the same amount of 2 wood type allies, but definitely significant increases here from the tap skill, and you'll want to take full advantage of igniting her if you do plan on participating in the Ragna Burst event. As for the slide skill changes here, everyone, we do have the skill gauge charge speed increasing to 93.5% to 3 wood type allies for 2 turns now, so this will convert into turn based instead of being time based on the original skill set, which was unignited. As for the weak point skill final blow, we do have plus 144.5% in 5-person giant boss, so a significant increase here compared to the rank 1 skill set, and definitely one you should aim for, especially for the Ragna Burst. As for the drive skill here, everyone, we do have an amazing buff here to the Awakening, in which it is still applied to 3 wood type allies, but now after ignition it is converted to turn based rather than the 20 seconds we did have prior to igniting her. So definitely an amazing buff here, as Awakening will be applied to 3 wood type allies but last for 3 turns long, as well as the drive gauge plus 150 to those 5 wood type allies. Now for my final thoughts on Scrouge, everyone, I would definitely say she is a solid wood type supporter that should be very helpful in this season's Ragna Break event if chang'e does happen to have Allure or some sort of damage over time in her skill set, as well as if she does happen to have crits rate down or focus is banned from the event entirely. Now if chang'e doesn't happen to have many debuffs or nerfs to the current wood team, then I would definitely say most of you should be able to skip this unit pretty easily, as Scrouge doesn't seem to be a staple unit heading into future Ragna Break raids outside of this event here. So I would consider her a niche option outside of this Ragna Break event specifically. Now for the more newer players, as well as the ones with a low invested wood team, you'll probably need the help of Scrouge regardless due to the Allure removal, assuming chang'e does happen to have Allure in her kit. So Scrouge will help with that. But if you're an endgame player and do happen to have your wood team significantly invested into, you can honestly just skip this character and you shouldn't have an issue one-shotting the level 30 raid, as of course we do know how powerful Pepita is, as well as with the introduction of puppets and of course the other core wood type supporters such as Yuna, Maid Citri, and Elysian. You shouldn't have a problem with this raid at all if you don't happen to implement Scrouge to your lineup. Honestly, it's pretty hard to replace one of the current wood type supporters with this new unit, so they'll have to significantly nerf the wood team somehow by removing focus from the event or having crits rate down to really force Scrouge onto the current wood team. Now I'll make sure to discuss teams further when the boss skills do happen to release, and I'll happen to have my guide up here on the channel, but for now I would definitely say Scrouge is a low priority if you do happen to have the core wood Ragna Break team prepared already, and I would really only recommend to summon for her if you are a newer player and do happen to lack wood type supporters, as outside of this Ragna Break we will have Sarasu releasing in sometime January or February, in which Scrouge won't have a slot on this wood type team, especially if focus doesn't get banned. So overall I would say Scrouge is a solid wood type supporter that may be a niche option for this event and be used for this one alone, but for future events I don't see her having much use, as I would recommend most mid to end game players to skip this unit, especially if you do happen to have the core wood type supporters. Now you could always go for the initial copy, as she might be of use, as of course chang'e may have Allure in her skill set, as well as some sorts of DOT. Now if you are short on gems, you can skip this character and just hold out with your current wood type team, and you should do fine throughout the Ragna Break. As for newer players that do happen to lack current wood type raid supporters, I would definitely summon for this character, as she will help you a ton throughout the event if you are lacking those units like I mentioned already in Elysian, Yuna, and Citri. As for ignition, I would only recommend to ignite this character if you are looking to participate in the Ragna Burst side of the Ragna Break event, but outside of that I would definitely recommend to skip the ignition. So that'll pretty much do it for my unit overview here of Scrouge. Make sure to let me know in the comment section below what you guys personally think of this character and if you'll be summoning for her or not. But before you go everyone, make sure to leave a like on this video, as well as be sure to subscribe to the channel, and of course check out channel memberships down below if you're interested in further supporting the channel. And of course stay tuned here on the channel for Destiny Child live streams of this event that'll be coming up soon. But with all of that being said, I'll catch you all in the next Destiny Child video. As always, thank you all so much for watching.